What's up, YouTube? So it's incredibly hot today here in southern Indiana, to the point where I didn't even want to come out. I was gonna come work on the car yesterday, but it's just too hot. I mean, it's ridiculous out here. It's miserable. But you know, if I want to get found on the YouTubes, I need to do consistent uploads. So I figured today I would come out, do a little work on the car, see how far I got, you know, just some odds and ends, making it ready to drive. So as you just seen, I went ahead and swapped out those clear garden hoses for some just regular black line, heater line. I did install the hood prop, which is funny because I just bought a new one thinking I didn't have one, or I lost it, or what have you, and I just found the original. Either way, I installed that, so I have a spare. I don't know what I'm gonna do with a spare hood prop, but I got a spare hood prop. Anyone want a spare hood prop? But I'm going to recharge the AC. Since I have the lines off and everything unhooked, I am going to pull a vacuum, suck all the moisture out, and do it right. So I'm going to do that for you guys, and I think I'm going to install the driver's side window motor. It's just too hot to drive this car without AC and a functioning window. So that is my goal for today. Shouldn't take too long, but we'll get busy and get it taken care of. To do this job, I heavily referenced ChrisFix's video on AC repair. It's a great video, very in-depth, very step-by-step, which means I'm not going to do that. You're just gonna watch me do it. I may explain a little bit, but for the most part, I would highly recommend you check out his video if you want to really understand how to do this. One core difference that I'm going to be doing that he did not is I'm using a air-operated vacuum pump. Does the exact same thing. He used a electric-powered vacuum pump, which I would prefer, but these are a whole lot cheaper, and if you have access to an air compressor, they work perfectly fine. The key there is you got to have a pretty big air compressor for these to work good. What's this say here? 4.2 CFM at 90 PSI. Basically, if you don't have at least a 30-gallon air compressor, this probably is not going to be the best option for you. Either way, that's what I'm using. I have a big enough air compressor, so let's get this moving. Alright, we're about 10-12 minutes later, still holding the vacuum at -30, what's that, inch mercury? I don't know. He explained it very well in his video. Like I said, recommend you watch it. Either way, still holding strong. Just so you know, red is high pressure, only goes on one of the ports. Blue is low pressure, only goes on one of the ports. Easiest way to remember is the low pressure is the bigger pipe. The high pressure is the thinner pipe. So what we're going to do now, well, we're going to get ready to pump this thing full of Freon. So I'll show you that, and once we get nice cool AC, we'll throw the window motor on it, and I think we'll be good for a lengthy drive. So let's get busy. Alright, I let this run for a while and made sure all the moisture was out of the system. I do want to mention, for those who may question it, I knew this system was empty, there was nothing in it, I had it completely apart. However, for a system that still has some refrigerant still in the system, you need to have that professionally removed and recycled. It is illegal to vent it to atmosphere, so make sure you get that taken care of if your system still has refrigerant in it. So now we got our can of refrigerant. This car will hold 34 ounces. These are 12-ounce cans. Thread that onto my yellow line. Screwing it down will pierce the can, go all the way down, then go back up. Okay. Now there's still going to be a little bit of air in these lines, so what we'll do, we'll purge it with the little shredder valve here. Don't do this directly towards your face. Use a rag, cover it up, something like that. Once it's ready to go, we will open the low pressure line, start the car. We'll start the car first, but you get the idea. And then we're gonna put almost 3 full cans in this thing. So AC is now officially charged. That took a really long time. I didn't film hardly any of it. What I did film is what you saw. There was a lot to it that is not really mentioned. First and foremost is the time that it takes. You know, ChrisFix's video does mention 99% of anything you would want to know, but on top of the 45 minutes to let the vacuum suck all the air out, all the moisture out, all that good stuff, on top of that, with, you know, the Mustang at least, you can only put so much in, about a half a can. This holds about 3 cans, about half a can of refrigerant before it stops. The reason it stops is simple. The compressor does not kick on. It does not kick on because well, there can be a lot of different reasons, and I don't want to get into that because there's always going to be others out there that know more than you do. So in my case, it was very simple. I have no idea how long this car has been setting or what have you with no refrigerant or anything really. It hasn't ran in a very long time, but which is probably what tripped the low pressure sensor switch. The switch is right here. See, I'm poking it. I'm poking it with the light. Light's poking it. But what you need to do to make sure that your compressor is not bad, and it is the switch or something simple, basically. Obviously, you want to check your fuses. All those turned out to be good for me. I actually had to do a little bit of internet research because I couldn't figure it out. So this switch, you pull this off, you pull this plug off. In the plug, you got 2 wires to go to the plug. Just take a simple wire and jump those 2. If your compressor is good, this will make it kick on. It's not kicking on because you don't have enough Freon or refrigerant in the car. So did that. I left it jumped while I charged the system. It did take a while to charge. I left that in there so it would keep pumping that refrigerant through the system. Otherwise, it wouldn't do so, which could cause a lot of people a headache if they don't know to look for it. So if you're on here searching for why your compressor won't kick on and you happen across this video, check that. It's very easy to do. I was gonna spend some time today doing the window motor. However, it's so hot outside. I cannot stress that enough. I got fans everywhere. It's evening now. It's about 7:30, 8 o'clock here, so it should be cooling down, but it's still like 94 degrees outside. So it's hot. And I'm sweaty. I'm tired. So I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna take a shower. I'm gonna put this in the computer and see how long it is. More than likely I will be coming back, well, in just a second for you, but tomorrow to do a little bit more work, because like I said, I got my headlights, my tail lights, throttle spring, other odds and ends that should be here tomorrow, probably Tuesday as well. I hate shipping across the country, but so I will have some more stuff to do tomorrow. So if this video continues, I decided to come and make this all one video. If it does not continue, which we'll see. Oh, real quick, if anybody, I mentioned it in the comments, or not comments, the description of the last video. If anybody has seen the oil pressure gauge, you know, buried in the 0 area, that's fine. It's perfectly fine. The oil pressure sensor will not fit on this Romeo block. I don't know why. Where it is on the oil filter housing from the original motor, it hits the block on this motor. I don't know, maybe some of the Grand Marquis. Either way, I'm not worried about it. I will be running a mechanical gauge anyway, because in case you didn't know, the oil pressure, the oil pressure gauge on these cars will show right in the center as long as it detects 6 psi. Obviously, if your car has only got 6 psi of oil pressure, you have problems and the car's not telling you. So if the video was not going to continue, it would have already probably switched by now. If you like this video, please hit that like button. If you haven't already subscribed, I greatly encourage you to do so. I want to see lots of people watching these videos. They're great fun to make, and I plan to continue doing it. So until next time.